What's up, guys? It's your girl Phoenix Novell, and thank you again for tuning into another Boss Bitch Tips episode. This episode is called How to Quickly Find Happiness. I think over the last 2 years, I've focused so much on myself, so much more on how I'm showing up in all my relationships, how I show up when it comes to my feelings about myself. And so what I'm going to share with you today is to help everybody kind of take responsibility for their own peace of mind. A lot of people don't know what's making them unhappy. They know how they feel. They know that they're not, really maybe radiating the highest level of energy and optimism that they used to or want to. And I feel like it's important for people to learn ways to transmute the negative energy that they carry within themselves on command, and not always be reactive to what's happening or relying on other people to supply them with their happiness. Okay, so I have some things written down. I'm going to be looking down on my paper just so you guys know what this is. All right, so one of the quickest ways to find happiness is to take responsibility for your own peace. Okay, and what I mean by that is understand first and foremost that you have the ability to decide how something is going to affect you. You don't have to just automatically say, I should feel bad about this because this person said this about me, or I should feel angry with you because you don't like me, or whatever. You can decide before you automatically switch that button in your mind that says, I need to react to this because I should, or somebody thinks I should, or it feels natural for me to. Take responsibility for your own peace. Don't allow anything external from you to have that kind of control and command over your well-being. If you take responsibility for your peace, you can walk into any situation without feeling so vulnerable to the room temperature that other people set. All right. You can be around people who you don't necessarily like or get along with or agree with all the time without being so easily malleable, depending on the way they choose to show up. So, number one, understand first that you have the ability to decide how something affects you. And when you understand that you have that ability, take responsibility head on and command how you want yourself to feel. Just decide, I'm not going to let that affect me. That's it. Just say, I'm not going to let that affect me. And then you take the next step from there. All right. But once you take control over, once you kind of stand your ground and get into the driver's seat before you just react to the way something or someone is showing up, you're already commanding that presence. And then from there, you decide the level in which you want to respond or how you want to show up. Number two is completely blow up and zoom in on the things in your life that bring you even the slightest bit of joy. Now, I take this to another level. I get up every morning and I love the way the sun shines through my window. I love the simple things. I love to see the flowers growing outside when I walk to work. I love to hear the sound of people laughing and having a good time. These things that are priceless, these things that I don't have to be rich, to experience every single day. So if something bothers me or something that I used to get angry about or upset about happens, I immediately focus on those priceless things, those things that I can experience and enjoy, even in the midst of hearing some bad news or experiencing something that I'm not really happy about experiencing. Immediately, it kind of like dulls the volume of those negative experiences and takes me back to the beauty that I get to experience every single day, that I don't have to do anything but open my eyes to experience. The fact that I just bought this electric blanket and it has given me all kinds of life. I mean, I used to my extremities get cold sometimes, and now that I got this electric blanket that has foot pockets, I'm just in heaven. Now, this might sound so trivial and small and silly, but again, the more time you spend in that space, the more time you spend enjoying and appreciating the simple things, the less time you'll be focusing on everything that you can't control in your life. So again, if you practice it, like you take one step at a time, practice one thing to be grateful for at a time. The smile that you see on your child's face, or your partner, or your lover, or your friend. A thank you, somebody holding the door open for you, somebody offering you something, somebody being kind to you. Spend a little bit more time than you usually do in them spaces. We are trained, a lot of us, and a lot of it comes from instinct and self-preservation, to focus and hone in on the things that we are afraid of, or that we think are going to cause us problems, or maybe they pose a threat to us. So I'm saying, instead of, maybe, I'm not saying don't focus on or keep your eyes open for those possibilities of situations that may be threatening. I'm saying just shine a little bit more light and attention on those things that aren't threatening, those things that are beautiful, those things that are positive, those things that are joyful. Because what you give attention to grows. You'll notice it more. It's not that it will be there any more or less, but because you give light to it and attention on it more, you'll notice it more. So, and then you'll get to a point in your life where that's what you see more than anything else. I guarantee you. Okay, so the next step is to get out of your head and into your heart. So many of us live up here and we have no idea. We think too much. And I am a prime example of an overthinker. I will think myself sick. And about stuff that is just not true, not real, because I want to be prepared for when something goes wrong. I want to be prepared, and I don't want to be bamboozled, or I don't want anybody to, get anything over on me. But when you do that, again, what you give attention to grows. You're not pouring anything into your heart. You got this wall up, you're protecting it so much, and you're in here so much so that you don't feel anything here, that you forget how to recognize what that feels like, what love feels like, what appreciation feels like, what happiness feels like. Because we're so in our head about what if this, what if that, what if, we're so trying to make sense, of something, when in fact, we should be feeling more. But I'm not talking about pain. I'm just talking about feeling your heart so that you strengthen that. Because it's this place that allows you to actually give life to something. And this was what it was really hard for me to understand when I started to try to get into the law of attraction. I started to try to understand how, thoughts become things, and how to actually give life to the positive things. This is how I did it. I recognized what it felt like when I was two things: when I fell in love, or when I was really, really infatuated with somebody. And I also remember what it felt like when I was really, really sad about something. Something hurt me in my heart. Something hurt me in my heart, or something made me feel really, really good in my heart. And they both revolved around love and emotion. And that's where the power is. The power is in feeling. Because I noticed that when I was in love, my fears about that person leaving me, these things, I exaggerated them. I gave them more life because my heart was attached to those thoughts. You see what I'm saying? And when I was in love with that person, or that person was in love with me, they gave me power as well, because my thoughts of how much they felt from me, and vice versa, gave me power. It made me feel stronger. It made me feel like, this is it. And I saw more beauty because of it. The same way when I lost my mother, or I lost my godfather, I felt that pain in my heart. And that just every time I think about that, I get to this emotional place, which means I'm connected emotionally. And I feel empowered. I feel disempowered. I feel that lack. I feel that loss. And it's draining and it's hard because of the fact that I haven't really dealt with, learning how to use it to empower me, right? That loss, because you can just focus on the beauty and the time that you had with these people that meant something to you and exaggerate that versus you're exaggerating them not being a part of your life anymore. But when you keep everything up here, it's almost like a sickness, because it's like chatter. It's like I call it static. It's just there it doesn't have anything to give you. It's just noise that's bouncing around, and it will touch anything, and it's like waiting to be channeled. So when you learn how to connect it to your heart, you give it power, you make it useful. It's almost like somebody just flicking the lights on and off, on and off, on and off. It's just irritating. You're irritating yourself, you're driving yourself crazy because you're not connecting it to anything. So usually when you don't, it's running wild and rampant, and it can be connected to the first thing. Like, say for instance, you got these negative thoughts in your mind and they're constantly bubbling and building up, and then somebody says something to you that pisses you off, and right there you're directing all of that angst and anxiety and fear and everything that's just not connected to something positive at that person, because they pissed you off, because they irritated you, because it's you're just ready. So I'm saying, if you focus your energy and your attention on gratitude and things that make you feel happy, and you actually connect that attention, that dynamic focus to your heart, and feel that gratefulness, feel the beauty of seeing your kids play, feel the beauty of being in the arms of somebody who you love, feel the beauty of meeting a new friend, of learning a new language, or whatever it is that makes you happy, even if it's just you being nice and cozy in a warm bed, or having access to clean water or clean air, whatever it is, expand it to the point where you can actually feel it in your heart. And the easiest way to feel it in your heart is to think about those who don't have that opportunity. That's where contrast is really good, because when I think about the war that's happening in other parts of the world, and where people don't have electricity, or people don't have access to clean water, or people don't have the ability to speak freely and say what's on their heart without being chastised or brutalized, where people committed a crime and they have to spend the rest of their life in prison. All of these little things can put you in your heart because they are not your experiences. That alone completely changes your perspective. And this is how you quickly receive and achieve happiness, because you are becoming more aware of the little things that you take for granted every single day. And unfortunately, a lot of us don't become aware of it until we don't have it anymore. So I'm saying, let's not wait until something is taken away from us. Let's not wait until something is scarce to appreciate all the beauty that we have around us every single day. Blow it up if you need to. I'm talking about magnify the hell out of a lover who treats you well and shows up for you. Magnify the hell out of a parent who's there for you and who you know is a ride or die and has your back. Magnify the hell out of the job that you have to put food on your plate and to pay your rent. Magnify the hell out of your health, breathing clean air, your working organs, your lungs. And it's just that simple to change your mood if you're really, really keen on getting happiness. Thank you guys for tuning in to another Boss Bitch Tips episode. And stay tuned, because next week I'll have another one for you. Peace out.